Hey, the Cruising Beekeeper here. I am getting ready to do a quick hive inspection. Our college here, Auburn University, is doing some studies. They're asking for beekeepers to report back to them if they have brood right now at this time of the year. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna check on my bees. Today is probably the warmest we're gonna get, so I'm just gonna go for it. Anyways, I will let you guys know how everything goes in just a little bit. I'm gonna set myself up over here and you guys follow along. Okay, I think I finally got my hood untwisted. Get myself suited up. The temperature, it was supposed to get to like 64 today, and they said it was gonna be warmest around 3 o'clock. I don't think it's got quite to 64, but it is close to 3 o'clock now. What time is it? 2:55. So I'm gonna see about lighting the smoke room. We're just gonna rock and roll and do this really fast. So see if I can get a few things going. I'm gonna sit you guys down here, I suppose. Let's see if I can get you level. I don't use paper towel, but it's a little bit of a wind. Like this for too long. I did bring out some sugar, a partial jug of sugar water that I have. And those would be for the observation girls. I won't open that hive today, but I'm going to take a peek to see how their researchers are doing. That was overstuffed at the moment. Of course, this is not the ideal way for me to let a smoker, but it was effective. I don't know why my camera all of a sudden is just like focusing on the caps, but whatever. Y'all are here for it. So. Put a smoke down there. I don't know how this hive is doing. So let's get loaded up. This is the most sun we're gonna get today also. So it was really overcast earlier, and using overcast, a little bit of drizzle is not the best way to invite yourself in. So girls. So I have been gone also. It's kind of hard to be a beekeeper, not here, but the last inspection I did before I left, they weren't here, they were fine. But the army member here, I see no evidence of death. I went around those crawling, so this hive on to the next one. Surprise! We have no bees. So, as you heard, first hive was a bust. But let's go over here and see if this hive's doing anything. There's activity out front. Just a couple girls. We have some girls. Here. So, I have a small cluster, about 2 frames up here near the top. And then seeds come on. Okay, they're not happy with me, but if you can see there, about 3 frames of the cluster, and this is for science. I know, girls, it's for science. It's for science, trust me. Okay, keep bees. See if there's any on this side. Well, that's that. Let's see if we can still go in here. Come on, Daddy Longleg. Scare the shit out of me. Time out. Okay, so that's 2 hives inspected, 1 observation inspected-ish. I gave them some sugar water, made their hives some sugar. And now I have 2 more to go into. I don't know why my camera's not tracking anymore. And it's hot. It's like 60 something degrees outside in a full suit. Yeah. This beekeeping shit is extra today. I should have done it yesterday. Anyways, I always should have done it yesterday. Are you seeing one? Look at that stinger. That's awesome. That stinger is straight up out in the air. You're just priming it up, aren't you? Alright, I've got about 2 clusters here. Ooh, they ain't happy either. Ain't none of these bees happy. They're not happy. See, y'all got resources in this crop. I need to try what to do. You know better. So it seems like consistently I'm losing hive 1 and hive 2. 3 years. And I'm constantly losing those 2 before I even get into full winter. I lost that one. So I thought that first one was still okay. I actually saw bees at it when I looked the other day, but maybe they weren't. Maybe they were just checking it out or whatever. No way until it is push this one together with this one. Go on, Daddy Longleg. So, I'm picking up all my stuff now. I left the last hive sitting in its place, and I will move it tomorrow. I'll go through, just make sure there's no stragglers that came back to it, because I moved them to the hive next door, which would be what is supposed to be my hive 5. If you count the observation hive. So I stacked it up because those last 2 hives, they were just not enough girls, and the one hive actually had that little roar sound, so they're probably queenless. So I put them together. They'll figure it out. If there's 2 queens, there's a box of resources separating the 2. So, survival of the fittest. That was my Auburn queen that I moved over. So, like I said, I think that hive 5 was queenless. Hive 6 had the Auburn queen, so I moved them. The resource hive, strangely, is doing all right. It looks to be small numbers on the outside, so I'm pretty sure, they're more concentrated in the middle, but I mean, they're still alive. They're in the observation hive. They're hanging out under a blanket and a tarp. They're doing okay. What was my hive 1 was, of course, the hive that is no longer there. So hive 1 and hive 2 are now gone. And this is year 3. And those 2 hives seems that every season going into winter and fall, they don't make it out. So that is definitely told me that is an issue, and they are going to have to be relocated or moved, or this apiary's got to change up some. I don't think they get enough sunshine. The hive beetles just manage to take over, and the bees just can't stand it. And they end up leaving because there was no evidence of the bees. So that tells me they also too absconded, just like hive 2 did. Hive 3 had excessive beetles in certain areas. The bees were very concentrated on trying to take care of them. So I did, knock out some frames and knock a bunch of the beetles out. But of course, if you see one, there's 100 in there. I mean, they're kind of like cockroaches. They're just extra. Okay, so the beetles are way extra. Look at that house, y'all. It's not ours. Anyways, so okay, so that's my review. I will submit my findings to Auburn, which is no, I did not have brood. I do not feel like I had enough frames covering of bees. I was hoping my hives would be stronger, especially my hive 5. Last year, it was super, super strong. That's the one that I broke down, like super split it into 4 hives last year. So definitely not going to be able to do that this year. Because like I said, I've merged. I don't know. I mean, things could change. You never know if there is a queen in there and they go to ramping back up again. But right now, there is obviously a brood break. I should treat. I would need to go and get some oxalic acid to be able to do that. I don't have any on hand. I do have the Viroxan strips, and I need to check, and maybe I can insert one of those instead of doing the oxalic acid. I need to just double check some things, or continue on with my experiment of this season actually not treating and finding out exactly what happens, when, where, and what I should do. Sometimes, even though you hear all the voices and all the people and all the suggestions, you just got to kind of experience it and do it for yourself. And yes, it's going to cost me more money initially in the beginning, but I think it's going to help me in the end to where I'm not going to keep having consistent losses. Last year, I did really well coming out of, like I said, going into spring. This year, I'm not quite as confident, but I still do have 3 of the 6 hives. So I'm down 50%. Well, I was 4, but like I said, strength wise, it was better to just start by merging these 2 hives. There's a good chance that I will end up merging still the observation and this other hive that I have, which is hive 3. Like I said, I might have to. Hive 3 is kind of they're on life support also. So if they don't get merged with this observation hive, then they will get merged in with the other ones. We've got 2 more sets of inspections that they're asking us to do. So I've got in 2 more weeks and then another 2 weeks. So they wanted us to inspect this week, the week of the 16th through the 18th and the 20th. But anyways, I have to look it up. But like I said, there's going to be more inspections happening, so I do have time to decide exactly what I'm going to do, if I'm going to merge further or if I'm going to just observe. Sometimes that is just the science of it, is just sitting back and watching and seeing what happens, even though it's going to cost your pocket. It's a good, the best way to learn is failure, in my opinion. So, let's fail at being a beekeeper, and maybe one day I'll become a successful one. In the meantime, I will be teaching my beginning beekeepers club class January 8th at the Dadeville Senior Center. That's going to be coming on. So if you're interested in being a beekeeper, you want to take a beginning beekeeping course, come out. I'm going to do some biology, so that'll be a lot of fun. Anyways, glad you were here with me. I'm not sure what all this thing is captured or what all I'm even doing at this point. Is overcast again. I'm still in this suit. I don't even know why, because the bees are they're all at home. It really didn't get all that warm for them to even be out. So I did hate breaking the seals. Also, that is how they, stop the air drafts and that kind of stuff that's, in their hives. So, a little bit of disruption. But again, for science, this is a year of, again, experimenting in science and studies and just learning. So, it's a whole process. The Cruising Beekeeper. Okay, Cruising Beekeeper here. Just finished coming out of my hives. So I'm glad that I decided to be a part of this study that is being conducted through Auburn University. My bees needed attention. I've been gone quite a bit, and when I checked on them before I left, they were doing okay, but coming in, I did see that they did need some resource support to the hives that, I feel could just be stronger. One of them sounded, they were kind of roaring, so I think they were queenless. Did not see a queen. Saw no brood. I put it together, so there's resources in between them, and if there's dual queens, they'll figure it out. But at least they can hopefully merge together and at least have a fighting chance through the rest of the season. My other hives, the other two, like I said, I've got a few more days, or some time before the next inspection that they are asking us to do. So by then I will kind of, again, look to see if there's brood and what further actions I'm going to take then. And that'll give me a little bit of time to think about it. Of course, with beekeeping, you're always behind on everything you do. So, but it's a learning process. And again, I'm here researching and studying and trying to figure out the best way that I can keep bees, along with the other things that happen in my life and the things that are going on. Like I said, maybe a little bit slacking, being more of a bee haver than a beekeeper while I'm on vacation. So that's a bit of a challenge. It'll definitely be a challenge when this spring happens and I actually will be traveling. So the opportunities are facing, are being posed to me, and I just have to take them as I can. And me and the bees will figure it out. In the meantime, I'm doing the best I can with the ones I've got, trying to figure out the best ways. Of course, everybody's like, treat your bees, and then there's other people that are like, don't treat your bees. And being in this area, everybody's pro treat your bees, but it's hard to get trait resistant bees if you don't allow them to become trait resistant over time in genetics, like I said. So just again, just trying to figure it out, feel the way that's going to do the best. I already know that I don't have the best apiary setup. I don't really get enough sunshine right here where I am, and my hives 1 and 2 always seem to suffer because of it, or have seemed to suffer because of it. So that is going to be a definite change for next season. I won't have hives 1 and 2 in the position that they're in or place that they're in. They will go to some place that's going to have more sun, and even if I have to make a roof platform and something, so because I'm not going to stop having bees, I either need to cut down some trees or I need to put them in the middle of my driveway, which could happen. Anyways, I'll have to discuss this with my other half, and Anyways, thanks for coming along. Cruising Beekeeper here, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Watch my YouTube.